Good afternoon, UC-UMC. What exactly do you know about Psalm 23? Do you know that the valley of shadow and death is a literal place? I mean, sure, it's a metaphor as well, but David is also talking about a literal place. I didn't realize this myself until I got to witness the valley in person right before I started working at UC-UMC. I remember standing on those hills where it was sunny and beautiful, and then looking down into this valley where there's just shadow and darkness. Now you see, this valley existed, this path, it was well traveled, and it was so that merchants and travelers could get from one city to another relatively quickly and easily. The trade-off to this was that when you're down in the valley, you can look up and you can see the shapes of the hills, but you can't actually see the tops of them. You have no idea if there's someone on those hills watching you, just waiting to descend on you. Whereas those of us who are on the hills, we can see down into the valley and we can see the travelers. We can make the decision to head down and relieve you of your property and potentially your lives as well. So when you walk through the valley of shadow and death, there's this constant fear. This, am I being watched? Is there a thug right around that bend up there who's going to relieve me of everything that I own? I remember reading Psalm 23 for the first time and just thinking David was talking about generic rough times. And I think to some degree he is. But then also looking at that valley, it put into perspective a lot of the valleys I had walked through in my life. And thinking back on it, I think about COVID-19 and the valley that I imagine we collectively are walking through. In verse 4, David begins, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever." I don't know what valley you're walking through right now, and I don't know what your journey through that valley has been up to this point. But just remember this prayer that David prays to God. Not where he asks for protection, but he rejoices in it, because it has already been given to him, just as it's already been given to you and to me. Pray this prayer, and I look forward to being able to see you again in person soon. Hey guys, one last thing before I go. I wanted to let you know that on May 10th, we will be celebrating Mother's Day as a church family. So as part of that celebration, we want you guys to send us pictures of your mothers. Whether that's your biological mother or someone else who served as a mother in your life, we want to celebrate that person. So please send us those pictures of you and your mother and to Brian Bingham. You'll see his email down below me there. And then we will celebrate them together on May 10th.